What's the deal with Italian brainrot in Minecraft? How do you add it to the game? And which brainrot is the strongest? Today, we'll check out two mods with almost identical names and set up a huge arena battle. But before we start, a quick setup so everything works. Both mods require GeckoLib. Download the files, drop them into the mods folder, and launch the game with your mod's profile. Done! These mods differ only by a space in the name, but they're made by different authors and are completely separate projects. Don't be fooled by the name. In the more popular version, the action begins as soon as you enter the world. Characters spawn randomly, just like normal mobs on the map. In the competing version, you won't find them naturally anywhere. You have to type the start command. A trader appears, and for various items, you can buy spawn eggs for the characters you want. In the first mod, it's better to keep them apart. If you place them close together, they'll quickly exchange pleasantries using weapons. They approach the player more or less neutrally until you make the first move. If you attack, they'll fight back without hesitation. In the second mod, it's calmer. They don't attack each other and won't go after the player for no reason. But if you start something, they'll respond just as firmly. For some, that's a plus. For others, a minus. Depends on whether you want chaos on the map or more controlled tests. Here's an important difference. In the version without the trader, I didn't hear any sounds. I tested on two computers, and even in the presentation video on the mods page, there were no meme sounds. Most likely, this mod simply doesn't have them. On the other hand, the version by Soyherios comes with a full set of viral audio. If you want the full brainrot experience, the choice is clear. Personally, after a longer session, I'd go insane, but maybe I'm just too old for that now. If you don't care about meme sounds and just want more content, the competing mod wins in terms of features. It has 5 tabs, 2 with eggs and 3 with brainrot related extras. The first tab contains eggs for the basic characters as well as a few bosses, mutant versions of selected heroes. I'll go over the character details in a moment. The second tab has a few character eggs, but only in miniature form. The third tab is all about extras. Here you'll find weapons and armor inspired by brainrot. For example, the Tung Tung Club, the Cappuccino Katana, and armor pieces in the style of Italian botas. Sounds funny, but it hits hard. The fourth tab is a really interesting one. 4 lucky blocks: Tralalero, Orcalero, Espresso, and Sahur. We all love lucky blocks, so let's open 10 of each and find out. We'll go in order, starting with the gray one, and right away it hit hard, like a bolt from the blue. Luckily, I'm indestructible. The next block unexpectedly spawned a tree, where the boss got stuck, which actually turned out pretty funny. Then I got 2 limited swords and another little monster, which unfortunately didn't get stuck in the tree this time. Luckily, the next lucky blocks were quite helpful, though not nearly as much as what was about to come, except I don't really know what happened because everything suddenly disappeared. Finally, I got another sword. So overall, I'd call that a pretty average haul. The blue lucky block added a pickaxe to my sword so we can calmly head out on an adventure. Unless that little cutie gets in the way. The one I petted a bit too hard, so we're probably not friends anymore. Then it only threw out some confetti, so nothing spectacular, but at least I got a pair of limited shoes as consolation. Useful for running away from a zombie in full netherite armor, since it's a shame to waste a sword on him. And if I do decide to fight, I got a watch so I can check how long it takes to strip that armor off him. Then came another pair of shoes for the collection, and yet another cutie, which of course I couldn't resist petting again. Finally, more confetti. Not the most exciting loot. For a moment I thought the next gifts would be empty, but luckily an anvil dropped soon after. Unfortunately, not on me, so it was a mediocre drop. As a consolation, I got a ballerina, and then I was invited to a party I didn't even know about. Or maybe the party just started at my place. Another anvil, then probably a blind gift because nothing appeared. Thankfully, I got some sponges to wipe away my tears after that weak drop. And more bad luck, though soon after I received a bouquet of flowers of all kinds so I could forgive it. And once I did, I got even more flowers at the end. Still, this was definitely the weakest drop overall. The last opening started with a repeat, actually a double. So that was an interesting start, but flowers! I had already had enough of those, yet I still got even more. Luckily, some friends showed up to cheer me up, and together we opened an empty box. I had to say goodbye to them because the next openings were practically impossible, and when I finally managed to open another one, surprise, more flowers. Thankfully, a little later I got diamonds, so it wasn't a total disaster. If I'd had a crafting table, I could have geared up for the party that had just begun. A huge buddy even joined in, and together we opened another box. Empty. Maybe someone stole it from me. Fortunately, the next one was packed with wood, so I had everything I needed to prepare for battle. And even if something broke, the last drop gave me an anvil. Let me know which lucky block you think was the worst, because honestly, there's no point in looking for the best one here. The final tab contains 4 cards. They work almost like spawn eggs, summoning different versions of the young Brainrots. Now, to the point, both mods have over 30 characters each. Together, that's more than 60, since they're separate projects. The authors base their work on the same viral themes, so some models and behaviors are similar, but they're not the same mods. To keep things engaging, instead of showing every single one, I'll pick the most interesting examples, compare them in action, and then throw them all into the arena for one massive battle. In the comments under the videos, people often bring up the topic of copying between Forza Neon and Soy Herios. Looking only at the CurseForge publication dates, it seems the mods were released within a short time of each other. But remember, the characters themselves come from internet virals, and the execution and mechanics in each mod are different. Let me know in the comments what you think. A lot of people ask which mod is better. Honestly, it's hard to pick, because they're different projects, and I've shown the key differences in the video. Based on that, you can choose your winner. And if you still can't decide, both run on the same game version and require the same library. Adding the second mod is literally one extra click. I've also tested running both at the same time. The game launches fine and everything works. The only clashes might happen between the characters themselves. Speaking of clashes, it's time to crown the toughest one. Here are the battle rules. The arena is big enough to fit everyone. Around it, I've set up dispensers, each loaded with eggs for one specific Brainrot. All dispensers are connected by a single redstone line, which starts and ends at this lever. One pull and all fighters spawn at the same time. No one will ever be ready for this. Let's begin. The fight kicked off the moment the fighters dropped out of their cages. Not everyone was thrilled about the brawl. Some just stood there, admiring our beautiful arena instead of fighting. From the very first seconds, one guy stood out. He roamed the arena, taking down Brainrots one after another, sometimes several at once. He seemed to cover the entire map. For many, he was a savior from this torment. As it often happens after a storm, a calm followed. Our hero suddenly stopped. Maybe his enemies were too far away. Maybe he got tired. Better not to ask for details if you value your ears. I turned on God mode and tried to stir up the slackers. The plan was simple: make them fight each other, not me. I started leading them toward the tournament's biggest winner. To my surprise, the champion wasn't interested in the treats I brought him. He didn't even react to provocation. Either he made an alliance, ran out of ammo, or simply had enough. Only a few remained in the arena. The goal was clear: only one warrior could survive. For some of you, it's a relief that the number of Brainrots has dropped. For others, it's a sad moment. Let me know in the comments which group you're in. And while you're at it, click that big red button. It might just blow up the remaining fighters. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.